Hello, everybody. I presume everybody's had a quick watch of Zoe Billingham's warm welcome, which I absolutely loved, and not because I'm mentioned in it. I just loved it. It was superb. But I want to welcome everybody to the conference, and this isn't just NSFT staff. We're actually open for this part anyway to all the other NHS staff that are working in other trusts in the East of England region. So welcome. I'm Jenny Carlisle, if you haven't realised this, and I am the actual chair of the Out and Proud staff network group. I'm going to say this kind of once because I talked to this, and I could actually quite honestly be why I'm a member of the carers actual group, but I could also I'm a kind of a stroke survivor. Why I mention this is because occasionally I get my words mixed up and substitute wrong words. It's something to do with retrieval. So if I say something too outrageous, just bear with it that I don't actually really mean it. So, right, to actually start with, I'd really like to thank various people that actually made this possible. And they did. Basically, with the Out and Proud network group, the people that have actually dedicated their actual time, the fact of the meetings that we used to have once a week, and then from them sprouted the idea that we'd like to actually do something proper for LGBT plus history month. And so we came up with this virtual conference. The whole point of it being a virtual conference is that if you work on a ward and you're really busy and you can't actually watch this live, you can see it in playback, which is this will also be open to questions at the end of this. If I give you time, I might not, but if I give you time, I will try and answer any that about. I'd also like to actually thank a great person from communications, Adam Jackson, who has actually guided us behind the scenes and actually put we were in discussions and he guided what we wanted in the actual the brilliant screen that you see when you actually enter. That was all done with weekly meetings and really good. I'd also like to thank Sammy Hart, who actually has guided us as being the perfect presenters. He got us all booked on presenting courses, so there's various of us that throughout the week will be doing this. Now, I'd like to be producing, sorry. I'd like to also thank the actual the presenters, not the guest speakers, the presenters that are going to be presented this week, who are Carl Purvis, Jessica McIntyre Holt, Maddie Johnson and Georgina Sale. Also, I'd like to thank the people who've given their time to record interviews with me. There's no, you can access them at the moment, but can I say there's no actual need to do that because each day we'll be playing one of these interviews. So anyway, the people I'd like to thank is that were good enough to talk to me and let me ask them whatever I wanted was Diane Hull, Dawn Collins, Nikki Bramford, Joe Sheen, Julie Warren and Peter Oates. So why are we having this conference? Since being the chair of the Out and Proud network group, one thing we have stressed that needed to happen in our trust, NSFT, was visibility. Why visibility? Why would we really want visibility? Well, the first and most probably one of the most important things about this is that if LGBT people are overlooked, then when the actual trust comes to actually planning policies, uh, planning services, for these to be fair and meet the needs of the staff and provide a duty of care to the service users, then we need to be visible. You know, I mean, I have heard it said that, oh, this is just a political thing. No, it isn't a political thing. I just sound a bit like Ricky Gervais, as I say, but it isn't a political thing. It's basically uh, we people need to know we're out there, need to know we've got needs, need to know that people that are like us that access our services have needs that may not be exactly the same. That if you do not have these needs, you may not even understand it. I remember in my training, there was three things that was, what do you call it, drummed into me. Uh, Positive regard, uh, empathy, and being non-judgmental. Well, we're nurses, so let's be non-judgmental and actually come and actually look at this. At present, not all LGBTQ staff feel that they're safe to be out in their workplace in the NHS or even beyond the NHS. So that's another reason why we need to be visible. And final point is there's a chance for service users to experience anti-LGBTQI plus, a mouthful. I did shorten it, but I've lengthened it just for this special occasion. Attitudes which may be born out of a lack of understanding and familiarity, which this conference hopes to actually rectify and hopes to actually educate. Right, since the Out and Proud network was formed, we did a presentation to the actual board. We put forth what could be done to actually improve the working lives of LGBTQI plus members of staff, and what could be done to improve the actual treatment of LGBT plus. I've decided to say plus, I'm fed up of saying QI, service users. We were tasked by the board to produce evidence of what was needed and solutions that could be used to address this. So we looked into the experiences of LGBT plus staff and the level of understanding of cisgendered heterosexual staff. Cisgender, it's actually lingo. Yeah, just so you actually know, it's not there to be offensive, as some people might suggest. It's just lingo. It's a simple way of saying if you're going to say a trans woman, well, then you can say a biological woman. And most people don't. It's just a kind of a lightly sorting hat at that school. So anyway, the Out and Proud group have promoted the voluntary use of pronouns since we actually set up. This was following the Trevor Project's 2020 National Survey on LGBTQ youth mental health found that that's what they call it, trans youth, reported that having their pronouns respected by most, all or most of the people in their lives, cut the suicide rate by half than those that did not have the pronouns respected. Again, we've got a duty of care to people, so it just seems right that we will promote pronouns. This was a purely voluntary thing, and so it's strange that people get upset with this. The Out and Proud network group at the moment, as soon as this is what finished, We're planning for Proud. So Pride, not Proud. Proud and proud. Yeah. Proud to be pride in being proud. Anyway, we're planning for Pride. Joining me, and I'll let people ask questions if they want to, is Zoe Billingham. And we're here to actually answer questions. If we don't have any questions at the moment, I'll just have a quick conversation with Zoe. So, and the first thing I want to ask for Zoe is she came to NSFT as our chair. And I think she'd been involved with the ambulance service. I might have gotten that wrong, but I think it's the ambulance service. But what brought her to NSFT?
Hi, Jenny. Hello, everyone. Thanks ever such a lot for inviting me along. And first of all, thank you to you, Jenny. You are an absolute force of nature. Of course, you and the Out and Proud Network have just done this amazing thing to pull this whole week of events together. And when I got briefed on it and asked to come, and I looked at the events, I thought there'd be the odd one or two, not the kind of the tsunami of information that we're going to get. Is just absolutely blooming brilliant. And I'm really pleased to be a little part of this and no more than that. And you're nearly right, Jenny. I come from Blue Light Services. My background is I've been inspecting the police and more recently the fire and rescue services for 12 years now. So it's kind of weird for me to come from one end of the sort of the inspection world to another. So my start coincided 24 hours in as chair designate. The CQC pitched up, which is obviously always a really welcome event. But why do I want to come? Why did I want to join NSFT? I've had my own lived experience and direct family lived experience in terms of mental ill health. I've seen what mental health services at their very best can do to protect people, and I've also seen from close friend experience what happens when people drop through the kind of the cracks of service delivery. And a bit like in policing, where my big thing in policing was protecting women and girls. I've done a lot of work around violence against women and girls and stopping that, particularly in the wake of the killing of Sarah Everard by the Met police officer. And what I've found when I've been dealing with victims of domestic abuse, for example, is quite often agencies shunt someone from one to another. And certainly, in that kind of mental health space, I think we could provide the best possible service to people in Norfolk and Suffolk if we work together across local partners and take some of the challenge away from our staff. I mean, my perception of the trust at the moment is absolutely amazing what our staff do in the most difficult and the most extraordinary circumstances. And I suspect some of you have almost got kind of used to the fact that this is the way of working. I don't want it to be like that all of the time. I want people to come to work, to enjoy their work, but not to have to feel that they've got this huge amount of pressure on your shoulders all of the time. And for me, putting our staff up front and centre is absolutely my number one priority. And in that, making sure that all of our staff feel valued, appreciated, cared for, listened to. My first port of call has been to talk to the leads of the staff networks. I'm so glad we've set them up. I think it's a relatively recent thing for some of our networks, and I couldn't be more delighted that we have the networks. In terms of the LGBTQI+ network, that's the last time I'll probably say it. I'll take a lead from Jenny and go for LGBT+ from now on. Really echoing what Jenny's got to say. For me, in terms of when I'm in a workplace, I want to feel that I'm cared for, that people understand me, and that, particularly people in the LGBT community, I want you to have that kind of visibility and care. And one of the things I've been talking about a lot, I did a bit of media over the last few days in the wake of some policing stuff, because I'm still a bit involved in all of that as well. I want our staff to be upstanders, not bystanders. And by that, I mean, I want our staff to be stepping forward to support everyone in their teams. I want us to be kind of really relishing the difference that each individual brings to the job, to the team, to the organisation. And that's why I'm just so delighted that we've got our History Month events this week to really reinforce that. It's really important. It's not about political correctness, like you said, Jenny. This is about making a real difference to the lives of our staff from the LGBT community, who I'm saddened to hear some don't feel safe to be able to be out in their workplace. And it would be great to be in a place at some point in the future where we can work together, where everyone feels safe, valued, understood, and really supported through allyship in the best possible way. To be the very best person they can be in their work. Jenny, you see, I've just out-talked you there. You're kind of like looking and thinking, doesn't she go on?
It seems we've got a question, and yeah, I'd talk to for England if I could. Quite honestly, I actually do enjoy talking. I think that's why I became basically a psychiatric nurse. Because that's the tool of the trade, is your gob, and actually being able to talk and actually being able to understand and being able to be compassionate, which surprises me when you suddenly find that the culture needs changing, and people say that the culture doesn't need changing, but I think I'd actually looking, I suppose everybody has been looking at all these actual speeches about CDIC. I'm going to say that because I can't remember how to say the first name. I told you I have problems with pronunciation, etc. Cassidyk, I think that's the easiest way to actually say it. But what they're actually saying is one of the problems that they're now saying is that, or I was hearing on the radio, was that nothing really changed, and since they've been accused of having institutionalized racism, but it was they did not accept that, and I think that's actual sad, because the next person that comes in to be the Met's person in charge is not going to be able to change everything, because to change actual culture is little bits and a long time. It's like the actual goals we set for our patients, do one little thing at a time, etc. And that is it. I haven't actually looked at this question, so maybe I actually should actually have a quick look, because I'm somebody's wanting to ask us something, and I'm just basically what do you call it? Can allies be part of the network? Oh, hang on. Can allies be part of the network? If not, can we support the network in any way? Allies can be part of the network. They can be part of the actual LGBT network. Oh, we've got 3 questions. It's actually really exciting. I may come back to you, Zoe, about that. I'll see what the next one is, because it's just a simple yes. Anybody who wants to be part of the network, get in touch with me, email me, and I'll actually arrange it for you. I'm really excited to hear there are lots of different types of experiences talked about today, as I feel seen too. Thank you. Looking forward to hearing about experiences from LGBT people this week. That yeah. And what do you call it? Can I say that not everything you hear will be nice, and may, as Mary Poppins would say, need to be taken down with a teaspoon of sugar, but it should be all right. How can I get more involved with the Out and Proud Network? I'm on the MHS Teams page, but I always seem to be working when the meetings or events are being held. With the actual fact of virtual, with me persuading the trust to invest in our all singing, all dancing webpage, we're going to, when we do things, we're going to record it and make sure everybody, Anna, can actually access it. I was going to read out from Peter Oates a question, but it isn't a question, it's just saying welcome to the conference this morning. But it does show that I'm actually away. Now, the allies question is quite, what do you call it? Because we're, Zoe, you're an ally. What do you feel about being an ally to the LGBT community?
I feel I've got a lot to learn, Jenny. You know, I'm here to learn and listen this week, and that's one of my pledges is to be a better ally. I think it's really important to be guided and supported in my role as an ally, and to make sure that I step forward in exactly the right way to support you in the best possible way I can. What I know from my previous experience is to stand up and support in any way individuals feel is appropriate, and that's always worked really well. I've worked with lots of people from the LGBT community over my career. In policing, that's often a difficult place to come out and feel safe as well. And it's been interesting for me that people have come into my organisation, the Inspectorate, and have felt safe to come out once they've come to that place, and that's been really encouraging, and understanding why that is. And the kind of the culture that we've created there has been important for me to better understand and to be an ally. But I'll tell you this one thing about culture, Jenny, and I spoke a lot on the media around this over the last couple of days. I've got a couple of things to say about Cressida Dick. I won't go through it all now, but she's the first out openly gay woman to lead the biggest police force in England and Wales. And I personally think she's done a damn good job. She's got to turn a tanker of culture of misogyny and racism and homophobia around, and I think she had a plan. And one of the things I've been saying quite a lot on my interviews with the press, and it's gained some traction, is culture is a really, really cosy word, and I'm going to bring this into my work at the Trust. Culture isn't a cosy word. Culture is homophobia, it's racism, it's misogyny, it's treating people in a degrading, bullying and harassing way. And I think if you're ever going to change a culture in an organisation, a bit like you said, Jenny, some of these conversations I think that we're going to have this week in the History Month are not going to be comfortable conversations, and they can't be comfortable because changing culture isn't a comfortable thing. Always, it's about those who are part of that culture, hearing from those who are affected by the culture how it actually really feels, so that actually people can have their own reflection and insight and look to change, to be better allies, to be better work colleagues and better supporters. So can allies, what will I do as an ally? Listen, learn, and work really openly and transparently to speak about culture in all I do, but not in a euphemistic way, in a kind of head-on, talk about it, call it out for what it is, and help the organisation, I hope, to address it.
I'm really happy with what you say. You just fill me with confidence, Zoe, because I must admit, it's like whenever I hit somewhere, people talk about me mostly in a different way than what do you call it. But when you took up the position, obviously we were quite interested whether you'd be an ally, to use the actual word ally, and I, what do you call it, do go on and say ally seems that I mean being at war, and being at war I suppose with culture, but I like to actually rephrase it to be friend. And I think really and truthfully I got told that you were a friend, yeah. And so that actually made me actually quite happy, because we had a friend in Marie before she left, and I am speaking to you today because even though I've emailed you, this is the first actual time. I'm going to close this little bit because I'm got to lag out of here and log back in because I'm speaking again for half an hour. But just for the welcome, I'm hoping that everybody will participate. They will either join for the live sessions or they will access. I do believe that we've got quite a few NHS staff signed up, and obviously this doesn't go live to the, what do you call it, the general public. It's slightly different when that's actually out. But can I just actually once again thank you, Zoe, for being with us. Can I thank Peter and Jessica for doing a great job